Welcome back, Cat 5 class. Today we're going to go over problem 3-15. This is in the back of your textbook, chapter 3. So I decided once again to, as I mentioned before, to turn this hand sketch assignment from chapter 3 into an AutoCAD problem. So same for the rest of the handout. So you will be opening the AutoCAD file. As you can see, the three views are incomplete. If you want to print out a copy of this PDF file, a hard copy, and first draw it by hand or sketch it by hand, and then check your work. So in this case, if we go all the way down to page 10, here's the solutions for, this is where the solutions start. On page 10 through 18, you have the solutions for this handout. So this is what your final drawing should look. Okay, so again, if you want to hand sketch and complete the three views, you may. I don't need your PDF file. I don't need your hand sketch. All I want is the AutoCAD file. Okay, so you do not need to submit this. Actually, I prefer that you don't submit the hand sketching. I just need your AutoCAD file. All right, so let's go on to problem 3-15. So I already have AutoCAD open. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up problem 3-15. Okay, so I can either go from here, open, or I can always click on the AutoCAD icon and go to open drawing. Okay, let me do it this other way. Here from the top, open. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my desktop. I also have these files on my flash drive, but I'll just go through the desktop. Okay, we're going to open up 3-15. So there's a preview, as you can see. All right, so, and I'm going to go ahead and open it. Okay, so there we have the incomplete problem 3-15. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the 3D model. And again, eDrawings is optional. And by the way, I forgot to mention, when you open up your AutoCAD file, make sure it's from the unzipped, the extracted folder, right? So if I go to my desktop, make sure you open the AutoCAD file from this folder, the extracted one, right? Not the zipped folder. So don't open the AutoCAD files from the zipped folder. Make sure it's from the extracted folder. If you were to open it from the zipped folder, you may have trouble later on saving your work. Okay, because it's in a compressed folder. Okay, so make sure you open it from the extracted folder, the one with no zipper. Okay. All right, so let's go back to eDrawings. Okay, let me go ahead and move it over here to the left. Okay, let me click on desktop. All right, so we're going to open up the 3D XML file. Again, not from the zip folder. You may be able to, but so we don't have any issues. Let's go straight to the extracted folder, the one without the zipper. So these are the 3D models. And we have to click again. Okay, so now we're going to open up 3-15.3dxml. So another way to open up this file is to just simply drag and drop. So I'm going to left mouse click on this file and drag it over to eDrawings. And it's going to translate it to something that we can read. Give it a few seconds. Okay, and there's problem 3-15. Okay, so let me go ahead and close my folder here, my files folder. All right, so, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and maximize it. All right, so I'm going to turn on the edges. If you're using a different version of eDrawings and you don't see these tools up here, you can always go through the drop down and look for front view, top view, or go over here to the bottom left. I may have an older version of eDrawings than you. So if you don't see these up here, go through the drop down or look here on the bottom left. All right, so I'm going to turn on the edges. Look at the edges of the part in 3, 2, 1. There it is. There's the edges. All right, so let's take a look at the front view. Okay, there's the front view. Okay, so we can see all these object lines. We have this object line here. Okay, I think we're missing this in our front view. So let's go back to AutoCAD. Let's complete our Okay, so here's the front view. By the way, this is a good time to show you how to change colors. If this magenta color for the construction lines are too dark or hard to see, you can always change the color. I was going to wait to show you this, but might as well introduce you to, even though I've introduced you to layer properties, I'm going to show you how to. Okay, so when you click on layer properties, give it a second to load. Okay, so currently I have magenta for my construction layer. Okay, so this is my construction layer. The thickness should be no thickness because they're just construction lines. So I can actually remove the thickness by clicking here and say, hey, 0, 0 or default. Again, construction lines are temporary, so the thickness doesn't really matter, but I should have it at 0 or default. In the end, we're going to turn them off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really change in thickness on the screen, but that's okay. So let's go to magenta, and I'm going to pick a lighter color. I know this magenta color is a little bit hard to see. Let me try yellow. Okay, so once again, I clicked in the magenta box, and it's better to go with these primary colors. You can pick some of these other different shades of green and yellow. Sometimes when it comes to printing your drawing later on, you may have issues. It may not recognize the color. So it's actually safer if you go with the primary color, but that's okay if you go with the different shade. Okay, and see now they're yellow. Okay, hopefully that's a little easy to see. And I'm going to turn my object lines, leave it at 0.50 to 0.60. I'm going to just make mine thicker just for this lecture and for the video, just so it's easier to see. I'm going to go a little bit thicker. Okay, when I hit OK, watch the object lines, the white visible object lines, 3, 2, 1, okay. And they got a little bit thicker, as you can see. Look at the comparison, the thickness of the object line to the construction line. All right, so I'm just changing the thickness just because I want you to see it a lot easier on this video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close. All right, so let's go to the front view. Okay, so here's our front view. Again, hold on to the wheel and move your mouse to pan. Roll the wheel to zoom in and out, and double click on the wheel to do a zoom fit. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the front view. Okay, so we have all the object lines in our front view in AutoCAD except for this one. So we're missing this line. Okay, so where is this line? So let's go back. So we're missing a line in this area. We have everything else. Okay, so if we go to the top view, it's this corner or this vertex here where this chamfer is located. So at this corner, we're going to come straight down. Okay, so make sure you are in the visible layer, the white visible object layer. Okay, go to line command. And make sure you have object snap turned on, right? If you don't see some of the options like midpoint, so if you don't see the green triangle, hey, I don't see midpoint, I'm trying to get the midpoint of a line, right click on the object snap and you can turn on midpoint. Okay, so an endpoint is a square, a midpoint will be a green triangle, a center will be a green circle, the quadrants of a circle will be green diamonds, an intersection will be a green X. Okay, and we also have extension on. Right, again, I recommend, as I mentioned before in other videos, you don't want to turn all these on or else it's going to drive you crazy. Your new geometry that you're creating is going to try and snap to everything. Okay, but you can turn them on and off as needed. All right, so once again, line command. And I'm going to go from this corner. I can always use the construction line. But just to show you where it's coming from, I'm going to go from this corner and straight down, and that's where that line goes. As you can see, everything is supposed to line up, right? That's why it's called orthographic projections. Everything lines up. Okay, and if it's safer if you have your ortho on, right? You want to have ortho on. That way it only allows you to go vertical or horizontal. All right, so I'm done. So I can hit escape or hit enter to exit the line command. Okay, there it is. Okay, so now we need to shorten this line. So I'm going to select it and then I'll use the blue grips to shorten it. There it is, right? And hit escape to deselect. Okay. All right, so we're done with the front view. I don't think we're missing any hidden lines. Okay, so we're done with that one. All right, so let's go to the right side view and then we'll come back to the top. I was going to start the top, but let's do the right side view. Top view is a little bit more challenging, so let's do the side view. Okay, so we have our side view. Let's see if it's complete. Okay, so we have the periphery. Okay, let's see if there's anything inside. Okay, so let's go to eDrawings. All right, so here's our front view, and now let's go to our right side view. There it is. Okay, so let me just click in space to deselect. All right, so we're missing this object line, and we're missing this object line. I'm just going to slightly turn. So I'm just holding on to the wheel. You can also use some of the options here to rotate, to pan. So I'm holding on to the wheel to rotate. Okay, so you can see that we have two surfaces here, and we have this edge, right? So we need to draw that line. And again, this is called a chamfer. We'll talk more about this when we use the chamfer command. All right, so let's go back to right side view. Okay, and we have an object line going across. Now, even though this is sloping inward, away from you, I should say, it looks flat, just like this side. Even though it's not flat, from the right side view, it looks flat, right? Again, just imagine flying over, you're arriving to LAX, flying over, and the rooftops of the houses look flat when they're actually sloping, right? All right, so let's go ahead and draw these object lines. Okay, so from this corner, we're going to go across and draw that object line. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the visible layer. Use the line command. And click from here. So you don't have to click from here. I'm just showing you where this line comes from. You can go ahead and click, okay. So I'm just doing it the long way just so you can see where it's coming from. Okay, so I'm going to go across and click and hit escape to exit. Okay, so go ahead and now shorten it. You don't have to do the extra step of doing it from here. If you know that this is the line, go ahead and just click the first time around and not have to do it this way, just to show you how it projects over. All right, so I'm going to hit escape to deselect. Okay, now we have a vertical line. Okay, so we have this vertical line from the chamfer. A chamfer is when you take a corner. So you have a 90-degree corner and you cut it at an angle. Typically it's 45 degrees, 30 degrees, 60 degrees. And that's typically so when it mates up with another piece, so it has to slide into a corner, the sharp corner doesn't damage the other part that it mates with. Okay, so we tend to chamfer sharp corners. All right, so let's draw this vertical line. Okay, so let's go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so we know we have a vertical line. Looks like this is the one. So if we go to the top view, there's that chamfer, right? So from the top view, we have the chamfer. See, here's that chamfer in the front view. Here it is in the top view. So we need to correctly locate it in the side view. Okay, so we're going to go from this corner. So if we go to, again, to our view here, see this is the blue and then the magenta surface, blue, magenta. Go back to AutoCAD. This is the blue surface and this is the magenta, right? Except here we're looking at it from the top view. So blue surface, magenta. So from this corner, we're going to go across, hit the 45, right? Hit the 45 and come straight down. All right. So since we're going to use the line command again, if you're going to repeat a command, instead of having to click line command again and again, you can just hit spacebar. hit spacebar, and it remembers the last command that you use. As you can see on the bottom left, it's already asking me for the first point for the line. Okay, so I can go ahead. Again, you don't have to do it this long way. You can just simply draw your line. But I'm going to do it the long way just so you can see where it's coming from. Later on, I won't be doing it this way, but it's just to help you understand orthographic projections. And hit escape or right click enter or hit enter to exit. All right, so now you see where that line comes from. It's from separating the chamfer from this surface. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this part. Don't need that. Okay, so I'm going to delete it. Then I'm going to click on this one and use my grips, left mouse click, and correct the length. There it is, and hit escape. Okay, so there's the side view. Now, are we done with the side view? Okay, the side view, we have all the object lines, but are there any hidden lines, center lines? Well, see this opening here? So imagine this is a building and this is maybe driving into a garage, right? If we go to the 3D model, go to isometric view. So imagine this is a building and this is a garage, right? Or valet parking area, or where the valet picks up your car and drops off your car. So imagine this is a cool looking casino, right? In Las Vegas. Okay, so now let's take a look at the right side. So if we walk over here to the right side, we will not be able to see that car area or carport area or garage or parking structure area. Okay, so if you're standing over here, we cannot see this opening. So we need to represent it with the hidden line. All right, so let's go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so here's the opening, right, for the parking or valet parking. And from this vertex, we're going to go across and draw a red hidden line. All right, so let's go to red hidden lines. So go to the correct layer, the red hidden lines, again, dashed lines. And I'm going to use a line command, or I can hit spacebar. It remembers the last command that I used. Okay, so from this corner here, we're going to go across. Click. Okay, and hit escape. And there's my red hidden line. Okay, so I can now shorten it. Okay, let me hit escape to deselect, and there's our red hidden line. Now red is a little bit hard to see, so let me go ahead and also change the color for the red hidden layer. You don't have to do this. It's just for this video. I know sometimes it's hard to see some of these colors. Okay, so I go to red, click, and let me go with something a lot clearer. Let me go with this color. Okay. Okay, we can see it a lot better. There it is. And I'm going to close it. You can also minimize this if you want, if you're going to be going back and forth to layer properties, especially when you're first starting to create layers. You may want to have this handy and just minimize it, or you can just simply close it. All right, so there's our red hidden line. Okay, so it looks like we have everything on the right side view. Okay, there it is. And again, we have an opening that we can't see, so that's why we drew the red line going across, because we can't see that valet parking area. All right. By the way, anytime you have a hidden line and a visible object line overlapping each other, the visible line wins, right? The white visible object line wins because it's thicker. Okay, so if you ever have, let's say you have a red hidden line overlapping this white object line, the white visible object line wins because you can physically see it. A red hidden line, it can only be seen through X-ray vision, right? Like Superman. Okay, so, and again, because the visible object line is thicker. Okay. All right, so we're done with our side view. Now let's focus on the top view. Okay, so top view is missing a lot of stuff, okay? Even though we have the complete periphery of this top view and this box up here, let's take a look at the top view. In each drawing, see what we're missing. Okay, let me go to isometric view. Go to front view and top view. Okay, so there's a top. I'm rolling the wheel to zoom in and out. Okay, so we have the periphery, right? And we have the little yellow box. Okay, so we're missing this object line, that object line, this object line, and this one. Okay, so as you can see, I'm holding onto the wheel to rotate. Okay, so we're missing the object lines on this green surface and also this green surface. Okay, object line, object line. Okay, so if you go to the front view, we're going to use our front view to help us create these edges on the top view. Okay, so we're going to cheat by using the front view. Okay, so let's go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so we're going to use this line and this line to help us create those edges in the top view. Okay, so let me hit escape to deselect. Okay, so go to the visible white object line layer. Okay, let's go to line command. So from this bottom left corner on this slope, we're going to go straight up. Click, right? And now we can, oh, see how I have ortho on? I'm trying to click on this corner and I might be able to see how it's trying to snap. So let me temporarily turn off ortho. So again, ortho, you can see it's on, it's blue. When you see blue, it's on. I turn it off and click, right? There it is, hit escape. Okay, so this line here in the front view is the same one here in the top view. They're the same edge, just from different perspectives, front view, top view. Okay, so let me hit escape and repeat the same thing on the right hand side. Line command again. So we're going to go from this vertex, go straight up, click, and click. Okay, hit escape. Okay, so there it is. Now, we're almost there. Let's go back to our 3D model. Okay, so we just took care of these angled lines. Now let's take care of these vertical lines. Okay, so the vertical line, we just have to go to the vertex here and go straight up to draw these vertical object lines. So let's go back. Okay, so we're missing the vertical line here and vertical line here. And again, that's the reason for these construction lines. And how did I come up with these construction lines? I just go to every corner and draw lines. Again, these are temporary lines. So anytime you see a corner, you draw lines going across horizontally and vertically, right? This is to help line up our views and all the geometry within those views. All right, so let's go ahead and draw these vertical lines. You know what? I already have this one. I was going to delete this one, but you know what? I should just use this one to create my vertical. Let me turn on ortho just to guarantee that it is vertical. Turn on ortho back on. And there it is. Okay, let's go to this one. Do the same thing. And there's our vertical object lines. Hit escape to deselect. And there it is. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost done with this drawing. Okay, this will be a lot faster than the previous one. All right, so let's see if we missed anything. So we got all the object lines, but is there anything missing? Any hidden lines? Well, don't forget that drive-through area. Oh, so think of it as a drive-through again, or valet parking, or where you drop off and pick up your car from valet at the casino. So we cannot see this opening or this tunnel going all the way through from the top view. We can see it's there. So if we go back to the top view, again, we need to show it with red hidden lines that the tunnel is going all the way through, coming into the front and exits through the back. Okay, so let's go back to AutoCAD. Okay, so first let's go to the red hidden layer. All right, so from the garage opening, right? So from this corner, we need a red hidden line going straight up. Okay, so let me use the line command. Make sure you are in the red hidden layer. Okay, so use line command. And from this corner here, we're going to go straight up. There it is. Hit escape to exit. Okay, do the same thing on the right. Line command. And from this corner here, go straight up. Okay, and hit escape. Okay, so there we have our hidden lines. Let me go ahead and shorten it. Hit escape to exit. Selected, use the grips. Change the length. Let me change the thickness just because the yellow and the red are kind of blending in together. Okay, so I'm going to change the layer thickness of the red hidden lines. Don't do this on yours. Okay, so it should be 0.30 or 0.35. Let me just make it a little thicker just so we can see it. It's hard to see through the yellow, even though the yellow looks good. Okay, now we can see the red hidden lines a lot better, or light red hidden lines. All right, so we're not done. We also have to go from this vertex also on the front view. Okay, so let's do a red hidden line from this corner here and go straight up. Okay, so this is an area where we're going to have an overlap, right? So let me go all the way through because it exits through the back to this. Okay, all the way back, and hit escape to exit. And let's go ahead and do the same thing for the right side. Okay, we also have this vertex go straight up. And here's a situation where we have red hidden lines overlapping the white visible object lines. Okay, click, hit escape. Okay, let me go ahead and shorten it. Okay, and hit escape. All right, so let's clean this up a little bit. We're done. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my construction lines. You can also delete construction lines. Okay, so but just in case you need them later on, let's just turn it off. There it is. Cleans it up a lot. If you don't turn it off, it's okay. I'm not going to take points off. But just remember, if you're at work, you want to turn this off. It'll make your drawing look sloppy. You want to turn off your construction lines. All right, so let's zoom into the top view. Okay, so as you can see, the red hidden lines are overlapping. So you can leave it the way it is, or if you want, you can shorten it if you like. You can shorten the red hidden lines since they will be overridden by the thicker wide visible object line. So this looks cleaner. Okay. If I hit undo and go back. So I went back, I hit undo a few times. So you can see again, it's overlapping, red over white. Okay, so another thing you can do is you can also move things back and forth, just like on a PowerPoint presentation where you have an image and you want to send it to the back behind the other images, or text behind, or bring it forward. So those of you that know how to use PowerPoint, you can do the same thing here. Let's see if I remember here. I'm going to select the red hidden line. I'm going to right click and I'm looking for, there it is, change the drawing order. Okay, so I'm going to take the red hidden line and move it behind the wide visible object line. So I'm going to move it back, send to back, see if it works. And there it is. So the red hidden line, which actually is behind the white visible object line because the red hidden lines are the tunnel at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to pre-select it first. And I'm going to right click, go to draw order, and send it to the back. 3, 2, 1, don't blink, and it's sent it back behind the white visible object lines. Okay, so if you left it with the red hidden lines on top, it's okay. I'm not going to take any points off. But for those of you that were curious, that's how you move things back and forth. And you can also move things forward or back, right? You can always, if you wanted to move it forward, first select it, you left mouse click, and then you right click. You can also move things to the front, as you can see, right? But we're not going to do that for this one. Okay, so let me hit escape to exit. All right, so teacher, I don't see the dash lines. Oh, how do you change the gap size between the dash lines? Well, don't forget LTS. Not as easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's do it. If you leave it alone, it's okay. I'm not going to take any points, but I know some of you are perfectionists. So if you zoom in, you can see the gaps barely. So wait till the end to change your LTS. So in the command line, type in line type scale or LT scale or LTS, right? Hit enter. Right now they're set at 0.1, so let's try 1. I'll try 1. If that doesn't work, I'll try 0.01. Okay, go in the opposite direction with the decimal point. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, don't blink, enter. There it is. That's a lot cleaner, right? If you want to go a little bit more, 1 works pretty good. Let's try 2. So LTS, enter. So right now it's set to a scale of 1, scale factor 1. Let's try 2. And I'm going to hit enter in 3, 2, 1, don't blink, enter. There it is. Okay, so if you like that better, okay, so you don't have to change the LTS. I'll leave it up to you. Okay, so before I close this or save this file, let me check the answer key. Yeah, and as you can see, that looks like our AutoCAD drawing, right? Looks like everything's there. We have all the red hidden lines, object lines. In this one, there's no green center lines. Okay, not for this one. All right, so let's go ahead and save our work. Okay, so you can hit save as from up here. Okay, so save as. So notice here at the top, this is problem 3-15.dwg. Okay, so we're going to save it with our initials. Okay, so I'm going to use my initials. You can use your full name, part of your name, combination of initials, or in full. I'll leave it up to you. All right, so let's go to save it. And look at the top, what's going to happen at the top here. And save. And there it is, right? It's on my desktop. Chapter 3, Part 1 folder. There's a duplicate folder. And here it is, P3-15 and my initials.dwg. All right, now some of you are thinking, hey, teacher, I want to put my name on this drawing, right? I want to take credit. I don't want somebody else to take credit for my drawing. Okay, let me double click on the wheel. For those of you that want to type in your name, so click where it says name. So click inside, touch the text, click once. Okay, let's give it a minute here. Oh, I think I'm going to have to double click. Let me hit escape. You can click once if you want to move it. See, I can use the grip. I currently have ortho on. Let me turn off ortho so you have more freedom. Okay, hit escape. So you have to double click. There it is. Okay, so highlight to overwrite. So I'm going to left mouse click and highlight everything so I can overwrite it. Or you can always backspace or delete and type in your name, right? Once you're done, click away. So click away out of the text box to exit. Some of you guys are going to hit enter. And it's just going to keep giving you more lines. Okay, so let me backspace. I think it's either shift enter or control enter. Let me try shift enter. Nope, that's not it. Backspace. Control enter. So control key, if you hit the control key and then enter, you'll exit. Or you can just simply click outside the text box to exit that command or to exit the text box. All right, so let me double click on the wheel and hit save one more time. So I'll just save. Okay, so there it is, problem 3-15 with my initials.dwg. And don't forget to close it before you email it. If you decide to email it to me, again, you can either send it through Canvas or you can send it to my personal school email. Or you can simply reply to the email that I sent you guys. Make sure you just reply to me and not reply to all. All right, so this is the end of this video. Again, there's no due date on the assignments. And just a warning, don't fall behind. From here on, I'm going to load you with a lot of work. So don't fall behind. The second half of the semester, there's going to be less work. But from here, between the midterm, it's going to be a lot of work. All right, so see you in the next video.